As the party travels, Arrtaron suggests that they find his and Nora's home on the edge of the Elf Woods north of them. Ladorna finds Arrtaron tinkering and decides to start a conversation.
Want to give me a little sneak peek?
I pull out my pistol.
Oh, fuck!
As the party continues forward, they talk about each other. They learn Arrtaron had been living with Nora his entire life, adopted at birth from his real family. Bellator reveals the loss of his sister and father, and Silver talks about being thrown from her previous village. Ladorna, as she drives, sees a figure further down the road.
I'm going to continue forward, but slow down a bit more.
Okay. As you get closer and closer, you see just like this single person standing. Well, he's not standing, he's walking down the road. It's a bit taller than most people. You can't quite tell the exact height, and it seems just to be carrying a pouch with it.
I say you lost, traveler?
No, I am not lost. I am but a traveling merchant, my good fellow.
What the fuck is this?
Oh my god.
But
Stop fucking lying to us,
I
Gabe.
would love to sell you some of my wares.
Is this fucking...
If you would like to know.
Wait, you just have a pouch. Where's your, caravan? Have you just been walking these days?
These few days have been rough for me.
Oxsticks is...
I look down at his feet. Does he have just feet, or does he have shoes on?
You look at his
least?
feet, and you see hooves.
Ox sticks his head out the front curtain. He's like, huh?
The strange figure reveals that he had awoken in the forest, and could not recall anything about himself or his life. Ox decides to help the traveler, naming him Fender. Fender decides to stay with the party, at least for a small time. The party eventually comes to find Arrtaron in Nora's old house. The house lays in a small clearing, with a garden to the side and a small parking space for a cart. Arrtaron welcomes everyone inside and gives each member of the party a random drug from the ones he bought. Robin immediately asks to go to bed. Fender, after taking something turning him invisible, runs out of the house, now not wanting any involvement with the party. The night gets crazy and doors and tables are destroyed. An upset Arrtaron spends the night in Nora's room, finding a letter addressed to him from Nora, discussing how proud they are of him. During the night, Ladorna finds Robin burning her books. Ladorna comforts Robin, convincing her not to scry on the family of one of the guards. Robin tells Ladorna about her parents and how she'd like to find her real parents someday. Bellator and Ox find a laboratory in the woods near the house. They find a small bird-like contraption that seems to be able to display moments of Arrtaron's childhood. They show Arrtaron, who finds a message at the end, directing him on a scavenger hunt starting in a place called the Crested Kingdom. Before leaving, Arrtaron, along with Ladorna and Silver, are able to make more potions for Robin through a ritual that turns Silver's eyes pink. Robin expresses worry that Mr. Dusk may still be searching for the party and suggests that they take a boat across the massive lake tree. The party agrees, and they head for the lake. While traveling, Silver casts Speak with Animals on the party as to show them Left the horse.
Talk to Left.
Talk to
you
Left?
will understand. Talk to Left now.
Alright, Left. Hey, Left, how's it going, my man?
Hey there.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
You gonna crack those rings?
Wait, what? Oh, God. Okay. All right.
While the Speak with Animals spell is still active, Ladorna decides to show the party the pet mouse she'd been keeping in her chest the whole time.
Do I hear anything coming from my chest?
You can hear it, but it's muffled in meat.
I open up my chest a little bit to make a little gateway for the boy.
Ew. Ew.
Freedom at last!
Hey,
and you see he goes to jump.
I grab him.
Grab him by the tail. As he's about to get out, you grab his tail and he turns back.
No! Hey, buddy! How you been? I know I can hear you now. I can understand you. I can see you.
You see a little mouse tear.
Oh no! Oh,
Stuart,
no.
aren't you glad to hear me? I'm glad to see you. Oh, it's all right, buddy. I'll put you back in your home, and I put it back in my chest and then close it.
The party agrees to get rid of Left when they reach town. When the party arrives in the small fishing town of Fruins, they are met with the smell of Lake Dream. Ox takes Left to the edge of the woods and lets him go.
Yeah, Left follows you. You take him to the edge of your village. Alright.
Alright. You've been a good horse. But it's time for you to leave. Get the fuck out of here, so I'm gonna
Get the fuck out of here.
yeah, I'm gonna slap him with my big hand and then he's gonna run away.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
You
I
slap him on
don't
the
know.
ass, and then he goes off running, like ecstatically. And you see, as he's running, he like bunks into like a tree, and then like shakes his head and keeps running off and hits another tree.
What the fuck?
He's gonna die in minutes.
He had something wrong with him, man.
Bellator.
And then he runs until... I don't even know if you watch until you can't see him anymore, but he would run until you can't see him anymore. I don't know if you turn away before that, though. You hear like behind you a voice. You hear a voice that says, Why'd you let that horse go?
My group doesn't like him and he's kind of brain dead.
Yeah, you turn around and you see this little... you've probably met them before because you used to live in the woods. It looks like a kobold. And he's wearing like a long coat and he's got like gloves on and stuff, and currently he's holding a bottle and he's drinking from it.
What you got?
Oh, strongest thing I could find in the bar. You want a sip?
The cleaner.
Don't even know if it would affect a big guy like you. Don't think it's me shit.
Let's find out. I'm gonna take a not a greedy swig, but sizable.
Okay, it's palatably strong. You're impressed that this little kobold is drinking this.
Alright, I respect you.
Hi. Whoa, where are me manners? And he puts out a hand for you to shake.
Yeah, how big is his hand compared to mine?
It's like pretty small.
Okay, so I'm gonna stick a finger up.
Okay, yeah, he shakes the finger. Name's Oakley. I'm the last captain of the Drunken Devil. We're gonna end tonight's session.
Fuck you.
The party makes arrangements with Oakley to travel across the lake with him. He accepts if they will help a friend of his on the way. When they get on the ship, they discover a massive 16-mast boat with its own bar. They are met by a half-elven woman named Elizabeth Mount. She asks the party for help looking for an artifact called Usurper's Trinket. The artifact is hidden on an island dedicated to Gabmoy, Arrtaron's god. Elizabeth says that the artifact has the power to answer any one question per person. She states that the island is protected by magic and only appears when you know it's going to be there. The party agrees to help on the condition they get a question as well. Arrtaron finds something similar about Elizabeth and realizes she was the woman in Robin's dreams who left her at the doorstep. He confronts her as they travel, and she tells him that she had a daughter but had to leave her to protect her from her father. She tells Arrtaron that her question will be to find out if the father is still alive. Ladorna, wanting to know about Elizabeth and Oakley's history, asks them to share with her. They regale her with a tale from a town far to the south, called Thunderout. Elizabeth had been a member of a noble family there, and Oakley a part of a pirate crew. Oakley had been a child at the time, and Elizabeth had started an adventuring party with herself, her husband, and Arrtaron Darkroot, an ancient person who was searching for the rest of his people, and the previous captain of the Drunken Devil, Arrtaron. She tells them the party fell apart when her husband had turned out to be a psychopathic murderer who had only married her for her gold. The party thought they had killed him, but soon after the town burnt to the ground. Arrtaron had died, getting the rest of the party and his crew safely away. Elizabeth tells Ladorna that she needs to know if her husband is alive at all costs. Days pass, and Ladorna decides to apologize to Bellator for being upset about his trial. As the two talk, they notice the water has stopped moving, and the air isn't blowing. Arrtaron, from Bellator's dreams, appears. She brings them to an endless sparkling sea with the holy sanctum of Ramirez. Far off, they see the lights of a city. In Ria's creation myths, it was said she watched the city be built, and when the tide near the city threatened to destroy it, she became the moon and forced the tide away in a constant struggle for control. Arca 2 explains that Bellator's mother is still in danger. She gives Bellator an amulet and says that if he cracks it open, he and his mother's souls will be brought to the city for eternity. Ladorna, opposed to the gods, convinces Bellator that they can save his mother without the amulet. In the following days, the party enters a friendly fighting ring and drinking competition. During their fights, Elizabeth slips a note into the drunk Robin's pockets, and Arrtaron, through one of his drinks, is unable to recall the names of his companions, much to Silver's ire.
I hold out my hand to him and say, "Hi, I am Silver."
Bird lady.
Okay.
The next morning, Oakley wakes the party to tell them that they have found the island, and that he will be joining the party. They take a boat, and Ladorna reveals her fear of water. Through a prank gone a little too far, Arrtaron almost sinks the rowboat Ladorna is in. When they land on the island, the Dizagreeables hear a voice in their head. The voice, calling itself the Silver Scourge, tells the party he will enjoy watching them try, fail, die on his island.
As the party reaches shore, Silver recognizes some glowing jellyfish orbs as a magical creature drawn to arcane magic. She tells the party they are a delicacy and eats one raw. The Dizagreeables enter the island, finding a long-abandoned village with crumbling houses. Upon further investigation, the party finds the houses to still have all their belongings and furniture. At the end of the village, the party finds the entrance to Gabmoy's temple. The gargantuan doors lay behind 8 small pillars and a cryptic riddle. Arrtaron attempts to help, but Ladorna, still upset at her near murder, asks him to leave her alone. Oakley offers Ladorna ample drink to cope. Elizabeth, interested in what has happened at the village, investigates. She finds faint footprints dating back hundreds of years, all leading to the temple and then disappearing. Arrtaron, abashedly wandering the village, finds many small symbols related to Gabmoy around the settlement. The party, with some trouble, solves the puzzle and enters the temple. They find a large inner room with a pool going down the middle. The pool holds 4 bridges with a door on each end. Each of the 8 doors has a symbol for a school of magic over it. As they enter, the door with the illusion symbol over it glows. Arrtaron and Ox immediately enter the room, followed soon after by Robin. Ladorna asks Robin if she'll be okay. Robin turns to Ladorna.
Yeah, magic's my whole thing. It wouldn't hurt me.
With that, Robin enters the room, and the rest of the party is unable to enter, finding a magical barrier in the frame of the door. Arrtaron awakes, finding himself in his and Nora's house. He finds himself to be in a younger version of his body, and finds Nora alive, working on an invention. Nora asks Arrtaron for a knife, and as he gets it, he hears them from behind him. They exclaim that he is a disappointment, and that they can never forgive him for joining a band of murderers and thieves. He exclaims they aren't real, and slashes the knife behind him, and falls out of the door to the room. When he falls, one of 3 gray dots under the symbol becomes green. Ox enters the room and finds himself in a forest, remembering it as one he lived in as a child. He hears the voice of his father, a minotaur whom he hated. His father asks him for a fight, which he declines. He then finds himself in the old house in which he lived with his tiefling mother. He hears memories of his fellow villagers talking about him behind his back as a child. This all culminates when he reaches his kitchen, with his mother inside. She tells him she's hidden a giant fat rat in the woods, full of sweets. She tells him that he needs to find the rat and bring it home. Ox, acting like his former self, agrees and runs off into the woods. This was the last time Muzz saw his mother. He is then taken to a bridge above what seems to be an infinite abyss, with nothing behind him and a massive fortress on the other end of the bridge. He sees figures he cannot make out attacking the party. When he comes closer, he finds the figures to be himself, and hears Ladorna shouting for his help. No matter what he tries, Ox is unable to help, and he watches as versions of himself kill the party. He tells himself that it isn't him, that he'd never do that, and exits the room, the second light turning green. The party waits, and after a minute the last light turns red, and Robin does not exit the room. Ladorna, without thinking, runs into the room, pushing past the barrier. Ladorna finds herself in her and her husband Bios's house. She finds Bios, who asks her to dance, and she accepts. While dancing, he whispers surprise in her ear, and she awakes again. She is on the lab table in Bios's house, where she awoke to find her new body. Ladorna struggles as she feels all the pain of her now exposed organs. She violently forms lungs and vocal cords in order to scream. She then atrociously creates arms and legs before Bios enters. He gets close to her and tells her she is no person, and wonders if she thought that she was ever in control of her body. Ladorna tells him he's lying, that he isn't real. Ladorna, expressing what she has seen to be an illusion, awakes in a black void. She sees in the distance Robin, who is shaking and crying. She runs from Ladorna, exclaiming that Mr. Dusk had already tricked her with a fake Ladorna. Ladorna calms Robin and is able to get her out of the room, convincing her that all was an illusion. The party clears several rooms before a fight ensues, during which Ladorna tells Robin to stay away. When the fight is over, Ladorna sees Robin holding a note in her hands, and Elizabeth recognizes it as the one she put in her pocket on the ship. As the party exits the enchantment room, Robin puts up a private area for her and Elizabeth to talk. The room is an exact replica of Bradley's hut in Cravenscrook. Elizabeth and Robin begin to talk.
You see she goes and she sits down at the table.
I don't know how to start this, so I'm just gonna jump right in and tell you, but I'm your birth mom.
I don't know who put you up to it, but that's not really something that we joke about here. It was probably Ox, wasn't it?
No, I wasn't kidding. When Arrtaron, when they were going through your memories, recognized me as being the woman who dropped you off at the place where you lived now, or did. And he came and told me that he found out.
Oh.
I'm gonna pull up a chair and sit down next to her.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna say, if you'll let me, I want to try to explain.
That might be good.
Your father is a very dangerous man. And I knew that if he found out about you, that he would try to use you against me and harm you in any way. And I felt that the only way I could truly protect you was to bring you to a place where I know he wouldn't find you. And I have tried to keep my distance so he wouldn't know, but the whole reason we are on this trip on this island is so that I can verify if he is still alive or not. I want to give you time to process this, but I tried to tell you as fast as I could when I found out. And I don't know how to tell you how sorry I am. And I understand that you're going to need your time and your space, and I'm okay. I'm okay with that. I'm here whenever you wish to talk, if you wish to talk.
Robin runs crying from the spell and sits in a far corner of the temple, kicking her feet in the water. Ladorna finds her, and she tells Ladorna the news of her mother. She exclaims that she is happy, but also full of anger. That night, Arrtaron leaves a note for Ladorna. The note apologizes for anything he did while they were on the boats. Ladorna wakes up and reads the note. She talks to Arrtaron, accepting his apology. As the party continues, the Silver Scourge contacts Arrtaron directly, offering that the party be allowed to skip the final rooms, as Arrtaron is a follower of Gabmoy. Arrtaron declines, telling the Scourge that he wishes to complete the temple like any other follower. The party completes the temple with the help of Oakley's Dispel magic spell, and a giant door at the end of the room opens. As the party enters, Bellator turns to dust on the floor, and the party is confronted by the Silver Scourge, a giant rock-like creature with no face. He exclaims Gabmoy is no longer in control of the temple, and a corrupting red rust begins to cover his body. When his body is fully consumed, he attacks the party. As the fight ensues, the Silver Scourge uses statues in the room to attack the party. One statue does massive amounts of damage, which luckily Ox is able to just barely take the brunt of. The party kills the Scourge and finds the Usurper's Trinket. The trinket looks like a pyramid with a make of diamond with golden trim. As the party prepares their questions, Robin confronts Elizabeth. The two have a long conversation about Elizabeth's past, revealing that Robin's grandmother is still alive. The two talk more and eventually make up. Robin promises to keep in touch with her, and Elizabeth invites Robin to someday live in her house. The party opens the Usurper's Trinket, which projects a fake version of Gabmoy's female form. The party asks their questions. Ox asks what Baphomet, demon prince of labyrinths and minotaurs, wants from him. He is told he wishes for Ox's aid in winning the Blood War. Arrtaron asks if there is a way to return Ladorna to her original form. He is told there is a ritual that can be completed, that is as of yet unperformed and uninvented. Oakley asks for the location of treasure in Lake Dream, which Ladorna approves of. Robin asks what Mr. Dusk wants from her. She is told he wishes to regain something stolen from him. Elizabeth asks if her husband Zuck is still alive. She is told he is, and that he resides in Shadowfell. Silver asks about her parents. She is told her parents' names are Gestry Thaxlor and Ina von Hurst. Ladorna tells the Avatar to tell her where the Seven Sisters are located. She is told that they live in the Ayunwe Forest in South Ilsen. Ladorna tells the pseudo-goddess she has been tricked, as Ladorna never asked a question, only making an order. She tries her luck again by compelling the vision to tell her where her husband Bios is. She is told he has been dead for 5 years, and that she will receive no more questions. The Avatar turns to Elizabeth, telling her that Gabmoy and Amari may have use for her. A portal is opened, and Elizabeth turns to the party. She tells everyone to watch over her daughter before turning to Robin. Robin and her share a big hug, and Robin tells that she's glad to have met her. Elizabeth, smiling, turns and walks out into the unknown. The rest of the party exits the temple to find the ship, the Drunken Devil, gone. The party creates a plan to build a raft. Silver uses her ability to speak with animals and cuts a deal with the hundreds of jellyfish from before. In exchange for a magic item, the jellyfish will propel the raft. While talking, Silver learns that someone in a big metal suit swam in the water to the boat before it left. The party identifies this figure as likely being Bellator, and are relieved to hear he is alive. The party reaches the Drunken Devil, but notices something is off. The side of the boat's title is painted over with a new name of New Wahiliv. When they get on deck, they find corpses of fish people called Kuatoa. They find no one on the entirety of the deck, and Oakley begins to have an existential crisis. Arrtaron hears talking from the bar and follows the sound. When Arrtaron reaches the bar, he finds a mangy-looking Bellator talking to inanimate objects, calling them the names of the party. Arrtaron and the party try to convince him that they, in fact, are the party, and he consults a sad pile of objects he calls his family. He also asks a crude painting of Laura. He decides he will stay with the party, but believes them to be body-snatching evildoers. Through some investigation, the party is able to find the rest of the crew in a bunker of sorts at the bottom of the ship. Silver is reunited with Spore, and Ox with Plimp.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Gabe and I have been working on this thing for quite a little while, and we're happy that it finally came out. Just so you guys know, this isn't the end. This is just a recap. We're going to be streaming every Wednesday at 7 p.m. PST, starting the day this is released, which should be the 5th. So come on over to Twitch/Polymyth, and we'll be there.
It's true. We're going to be there. We're going to be streaming D&D weekly. It's going to be a great time to continue the story of the Dizagreeables.
Just, watch our stuff, please. And follow us on Twitter.
We're putting a lot of effort into it. We're excited to continue working on stuff. This is the first thing we've ever fully produced that's related to D&D, especially this campaign. We've recorded episodes for it for the podcast, but we have never fully gone in on making something.
Yeah, especially me and Gabe, we haven't worked together on anything really, and it's been a fun experience. Honestly, it's been a good time.
Yeah, a lot of long nights.
But yeah, this is not the end. You will be able to see VODs and everything on this channel, so go ahead and subscribe if if you're interested and you like this content.
Yeah, I think that's it.
That should be it. Thank you so much for watching yet again, and have a fantastic day.
We love all 12 of you.
Every single one.